Just how embarrassing is this? Because in October, they took some drastic steps to try and reduce the counterfeit goods and tackle this very thing.
I think for Alibaba, this is really a big surprise. They've been off of this list for many years since 2012. They say they've done everything possible to address all of the USTR's concerns, yet they're on the list again this year. I think for them, they see this as unfair. They think it's probably politically motivated, but there have been a rising number of complaints this year. We saw high-end brands like Gucci and YSL come out with a lawsuit earlier this year saying Alibaba was profiting from goods using their IP. There were also retail associations complaining, saying that the USTR should reinstate them. So the USTR is not saying that Alibaba hasn't tried. They're just saying it's not enough.
Bob, fascinating reading your own bio. You have been on lists of the most influential tech analysts out there. Are you one of these analysts thinking it could be politically motivated?
Well, I think it's a little early to say that. Remember, the Trump administration is not in office yet, right? So, you have to say, well, wait a minute. Given that, yes, there's going to be some influence toward that, but because it's before that, I think you have to look at the legitimate nature of the issue. And unfortunately, in China, the idea of using other people's IP to make products is rampant, and it has been. And I'm not saying that Alibaba is the culprit, but as the largest provider of goods through their Taobao store, unfortunately, they're just participating in what is a climate of copyright infringement.
How much do customers care, Bob? How much will this actually limit growth in here in the United States, for example?
Well, there are a lot of people who, in fact, specifically look for low-cost knockoffs of major brands. So let's not ignore that. But if I'm a major brand owner, of course, I want to be somewhat in control of that. And the situation you have with an Alibaba, as they continue to grow their influence, and of course, they're trying to make a big statement and presence here in the U.S., the sense I think that the big goods brands are saying is we've got to watch this and monitor this closely. And if they're legitimately complaining, then I think the trade group has to recognize that and deal with the issue.
Selina, you look at how the shares have performed since the record-breaking IPO back in 2014. It's been a roller coaster ride. They're down on today. How much do you think this affects investors' desire to buy into this stock?
I think that it definitely does impact Alibaba. As Bob said earlier, realistically, this isn't going to hurt their business in China. But what this harms is their impact to go abroad, to be international, to really set themselves up as a big international brand. And this might harm Alibaba's own goals of reaching half of their revenue from outside of their domestic country. And in order for them to get all of that revenue outside of China, they need to gain the trust of international brands that they want to be on this platform. And let's not forget that Alibaba has plenty of competitors nipping at its heels. Some investors may see JD.com as a better growth value investment.